Ooh, yeah. I'd like to welcome our guest, Blazing Odin 20, who I originally read as Blazing God in 20. Now I can't even read it the old way.
Blazing Odin 420.
Well, as you said, Blazing Odin 20, yeah, that's what I have gone by on Reddit and whenever I contacted our Lord and Savior Seizure. I've been a part of the Cobraverse for probably a couple of years now. As a lot of people watch Josh for, I really enjoyed this decay of him slowly breaking down and just seeing each individual step, just how he gets progressively worse day in, day out. It's just a nice thing to keep updated with. And I know some people like TV shows and they have their own hobbies, whereas for me, I would genuinely put Cobra as a hobby of mine. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy keeping up with this guy, just from the ridiculousness of it to the kind of slightly feeling better for myself. He's a one-man production company. He can come for smiles, laughs, everything.
Make it sound so wholesome at the end there.
It's true though. I mean, obviously from his perspective, it can be extremely depressing to watch this guy go at it all day, every day. But you got to remember, he seems relatively happy with it. If he has his tobacco, spice, something to drink, blue rise, maybe some hard liquor, some wine or something, he switches it up a lot. He seems relatively satisfied. So, I mean, I can come and, you know, feel better about myself. He'll seem to, from his perspective, he's, as we all know, a massive goth, bad boy, sexy stud. So, I mean, it's entertainment for both sides.
It is. And I have wanted to pry into that for some time now, is whether or not the hardcore fans of Josh, or even casual viewers, do have some aspect of themselves, some kind of hole that watching Josh helps with. Like you said, helps you feel a little bit better. I certainly have that. I think watching him, seeing just the state of his life sometimes, it's not like a sour grape saying, I don't want to see him suffer, but I have to admit, there is some part of me that thinks, you know what, you have done at least moderately well when you watch this guy.
I'm entirely with you on that one. I mean, the only actual post I've ever made on the subreddit was, I said, is there any moments or times or things that he does where you can draw parallels between yourself and him? Maybe not right now, or maybe at some point in your life. And I really did get a lot of responses of people being like, I used to be a massive smoker. Seeing him genuinely now makes me feel happy about myself. And, you know, I'm not in that same position. Or people that were like, I've been unemployed recently, or I've gone through spells of depression. Maybe I haven't changed my shirt or something like that. But whenever all of the factors of him are added together, I think everyone in at least one way, shape or form is doing better than him. I remember one bloke mentioned that he envied Josh, not envied, but he could say that Josh was nearly in a better financial situation than himself. And I just thought to myself, between Clint, this money that he received from his tax returns, quote unquote, that isn't something Josh has worked for. That's just him being handed these things.
Oh yeah. And there are many people, especially here in the States, that wish they had that sort of financial safety bubble to exist in, where Josh has a lot of protection, a lot of safety that he can enjoy, of always having those payments come in. He will probably always have a place to live. He's got his dad for now to take care of him, and his dad's pretty healthy. Many people here, especially with what's going on, there's a ton of financial uncertainty of what's going to happen to them. So you could look at Josh and get jealous of that and kind of wish you had what he has. Our topic for today is Josh and addiction.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot to work with.
There is. It's a very, very big part of his life. It drives his decision making, and so much of what makes up Josh is what he's addicted to.
I mean, for me personally, it's somewhat close to me. I mean, I've had issues in the past with addictions and stuff like that, but I mean, not nearly to this caliber. It's another reason to watch him and kind of think, thank God I never reached this point, a bit with like the TV show Intervention, same logic.
You mentioned something earlier that was very important to me. I took notice of it. You wanted to separate addiction versus abuse.
Well, as I said, with tobacco, that's an addiction. Like that real nicotine is one of those substances that you really quickly get hooked on it, and your withdrawals from nicotine are going to be unpleasant, but they're never going to be life-threatening. You'll be irritable. However, if someone was to call him an alcoholic, I wouldn't go as far as to say that. I'd say he is a heavy drinker. He is borderlining the dependence. He's approaching a point where it's his escape from reality, but at the same time, he just really likes being drunk. But the key separator there would be, I've met and known alcoholics. They will have withdrawal symptoms whenever they're not drinking. And with Josh, you can see a couple days where he won't have any money and he'll be sitting there in a bad mood, but he won't be withdrawing from lack of alcohol.
No shakes, no sweats.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. And even the way he drinks, he will drink these 4 to 6% beers and stuff, Jack Daniels. But whenever you're a real alcoholic, you can take that bottle. You're taking big, like it's a bottle of Coca-Cola. You're drinking that back, and the taste is you're almost immune to it. You're almost numb to it. But with Josh, you can see him take swigs or shots, and instantly.
Yeah. He definitely notices the taste.
100%, man.
I love it when he tries to drink hard liquor.
The best example of it, when he takes the bottle of Jack Daniels. He's house sitting for someone, I believe.
He's hanging out with some dog or something.
You tell him.
His plan is to sit in that house. He just got himself a box of, what are they, Marlboro Black Green Ice, these new...
kind of menthol cigarettes or something.
Yeah. But he'll have the bottle of Jack Daniels as well. And, to do the little sign off, the badass kind of catch you cobes, he'll take that swig. And I mean, you can see the amount that's gone from the bottle, and it's not a mouthful by any means.
It was pretty small, for sure.
Yeah, but his reaction, he starts salivating so much, he coughs.
Sweating.
It's like, and he's staring straight into the camera, which is the worst part about it.
Yeah.
If anything, he should have just cut the video there and then.
He powered through it, and we're supposed to be none the wiser.
Oh, who would have noticed?
That he's tearing up and coughing and sweating, very visibly uncomfortable. But no, he just keeps it up. It's too early in the morning, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. That must be it. Because this is a guy with such a solid, structured life of waking up and going to bed at given times. I have no idea what this Job Corps thing is. It's not school.
No, and I would say most people, even in the States, do not know what Job Corps is. I had never heard of it prior to Josh. It's a very unique program. I would say it has very good intentions. It takes people who have probably flunked out of high school or are just off the beaten path and tries to give them, I want to say, trade skills. I always think of welding and whatever else, like blue-collar skills.
He must have completed it, right?
No, he got kicked out for smoking marijuana.
Mother of God.
He once talked about how he got really, really horny at Job Corps and actually tried to have sex with a grapefruit and was discovered. And apparently he owned up to it. And if people were going to make fun of him for it, he ran with it and kind of poked fun at himself as well. But he became known as the guy who had sex with the grapefruit.
I had a grapefruit before I went to bed, and the thought occurred to me, can I mix this into a vagina? So I ate all the grapefruit out, I poked a hole in the middle of it, and then stuck it on my dick, wrapped around, and jerked off with it. Wet, cold, and slimy. About like fucking a dead chick. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't know. But my roommates are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, look, I had sex with a grapefruit. He's like, what? Fucking Saunders, man. I'm like, okay, look, I won't do it again. It's just, well, it's all good, dude. I'm like, okay, cool. So I threw it away. And then somehow the whole campus found out about it. Because that's how Job Corps is. It's kind of like high school in that aspect.
I mean, if you're caught in the act, there's really nothing you can do in that position.
No.
But why was a grapefruit the go-to? A very citric-y fruit.
Very acidic, yeah.
I can't stand fruits that have lots of citric acid in them. Like, I mean, a small amount, but putting my knob in it, I mean,
yeah. Surely
that would, I don't know if it would sting, but it couldn't be a pleasant experience.
It would feel terrible. I'm starting to imagine too much of what all he was doing to it, but if it just went around and he wasn't necessarily going into it, we'll have to ask him in a super chat or something.
Hey, most definitely, because that's definitely caught my attention.
How do I have sex with a grapefruit? This is important. I have ranked what I consider Josh's addictions. Least addiction, or at least powerful to most powerful.
Let me hear them.
All right. So, this one I may have ranked too low, but if this were like a top 10 list, we would start at the bottom. I haven't even counted how many I have here. Marijuana/spice.
I have been very curious about the marijuana because you've just told me that he got kicked out for smoking grass.
Yes.
But he has this, and he wears those fucking weed leaf earrings.
In the shirt, too.
Yeah, in the show, yeah, of course. I've never seen him stoned or smoking grass on stream. Never. Right. Not once have I ever seen that happen. But he will always go on about, if someone's in the super chat and says, have you ever smoked weed? He'd be like, oh, yeah, whenever I'm in Colorado, all the time. And I'm just thinking, when was the last time this guy was in Colorado?
It's code, I'm sure.
Okay.
Because it's very much like when he says an of-age female.
Yeah,
it's
of course.
Cover him legally to show that he is abiding by the law. I think he's terrified of being recorded smoking marijuana.
Well, fair enough. That's actually something he's relatively smart about. Obviously, it's illegal. Yeah. However, I mean, the police are not going to come knocking on your door for a video or a live stream of you smoking marijuana. But he will be so comfortable with smoking spice. It won't really say, oh, there's spice in this. But there's one video where he was making a wand pipe, and you can so clearly, like, there's a sizzle from it whenever it burns. And it's not like when he's smoking tobacco, where he might exhale some, inhale some, kind of swirl the smoke. With spice, it's you want to get as much out of each drag. So he's inhaling and holding it in and like really letting it settle in his lungs, and you just think to yourself, that's not how you smoke tobacco. So right. What's going on here? And then the even more obvious aspect would be him being somewhat coherent, speaking at a relatively normal rate and volume, and then it will just instantly dip down to the really real. It sounds like he hasn't slept in days, or he's been at a concert or something. Like, the voice is just completely depleted. Has he been heavy on the spice recently?
He hasn't. That's why I put it at the very bottom, and it may not even qualify as an addiction. I feel like he really, really enjoys that feeling that spice and marijuana provide of relaxing him or whatever. It's something that he chases.
Yeah, I mean, it's one dopamine rush after the other.
Yes, that's what this is all about. All of the things that he's
sure.
addicted to, he wants dopamine really bad. Next up on the list, masturbating. And that may be jarring at first, but the reason why I listed that here, his wanker scabs video.
Yeah, that kind of scared me a little bit.
That he is beating it so frequently that he is chafing, and he has to abstain so that his scabs can heal, so he's not bleeding. What is he doing that is causing his little weird dong to get scabs all over it and chafe that bad?
I cannot think of any reasoning for it other than something along the lines of he gets too fucked up and is very drunk and is persistent on ending the wank. Like he started it, he's going to finish, and everybody gets that whiskey dick when it's either happening or it's not happening. So I mean, he could just beat it to the point where it is literally bloody and scabby, which I really, really can't imagine, because I mean, I've noticed in my life I've bruised my cock, but never a cut or anything like that, like a scab. Like that's
really bizarre,
isn't it? It's really, I mean, that does speak volumes about his the amount he wanks. Because if you're, well, how long has this dry spell been going on for now?
Oh, 2 years?
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way then. He has more than likely been whacking off 1 to 4 times a day for 2 years. So I mean, maybe that has something to do with it. I can't speak from experience, and I don't know anyone that lives a lifestyle of that much tossing off. But maybe it does get to that point. Who knows?
I think he's a really big fan of chatterbait.
You were talking about autism. It was in episode 5. How people with autism fail to show expression on their face. Yes. And you claim to have watched a video of him having a wank.
Yep.
And just no expression there whatsoever.
No.
And I mean, I think that may be obviously from the autism, but at the same time, when you're wanking that much, there's got to be no relief and fun anymore. It's probably going to be like it's like a routine, almost like a chore for him at this stage.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, just like everything else, he's abused it so much to the point that he basically has a tolerance to it.
Well said. Very well said. And chatterbait would seem to be, I mean, the two go hand in hand, don't they? It's sort of like a chat roulette where you're tossing off. I assume that's the gist of it.
His strange exhibitionism combined with his propensity to beat off, it's a good combo for him.
A recipe for disaster for others, but for him, perfect.
Oh, I can't imagine. I'm just suddenly imagining him with his clown makeup on, just going really hard. Maybe he's got a bloody hand covered in soot and ash. He goes right into the carpet. It's
funny as well then that he's such a advocate of this Bond tactical soap, because he is the embodiment of filth. But I mean, whenever I think of these broken down towns, I'm thinking meth and opiates and all that kind of carry on, which, you know, Josh, I don't think he's ever smoked meth. He might have.
On accident one time.
So he has.
Yeah, he was given something at a party once, according to one of his stories. I'll have to get the citation needed. But he was given meth and said he really didn't like it and never did it again.
Well, that's admirable.
And again, he is afraid of the law considerably.
Yes.
Yeah.
The law plus Clint. You know, it's like it's two forces to be reckoned with, because if he pisses off Clint, he runs the risk of not being able to sit and do nothing all day, every day. And then obviously with the police, if he does get in trouble with them.
Yeah. Next on our list, I have caffeine. It was especially prominent during his early years, since he couldn't quite drink yet. He would still drink his Cobra's Mist. I'm thinking of the days when he was in his basement. But he would hit the caffeine really, really hard. He would drink multiple cans of Monster and Rockstar and stuff like that and be out of his mind.
Another parallel I will draw with that is, obviously said he wasn't able to, he wasn't old enough to drink. It's another way of him showing people he's cool. You know, caffeine. Like, oh, hell yeah, bro, look how many monsters I'm about to smash through. Like, do you know how much caffeine is in that? I mean, caffeine for Josh, as of recently, like, you know, as you said, he was so heavy on it in the past.
Yeah.
However, considering the amount he eats and what he eats, he's got to keep himself going somehow. So caffeine, definitely. And with how he really likes putting hard liquor with caffeine, you know, if you're to drink a beer, you'll be more mellow. But whenever you're mixing energy drinks with alcohol, it hits you harder. So you get a bit of a rush off it, not like meth or anything like that, a much more mellow, but you will notice it. So caffeine, he's definitely, again, addicted. I wouldn't quite put it under that category.
Gotcha.
But he has, like, I'd say it's more of an obsession. Every time he'll see a new Monster brand, he'll try it.
Yes.
It might even be kind of like the the classic. And then and these drink reviews are always him taking one drink, pulling that face. YouTube, that's not bad. And there's no, he'll never actually tell you, oh, it has undertones of raspberry and it's designed to be a grapefruit flavored drink. He'll never give you that. And I remember with the blue raz one, he was like, it's a blue flavored drink. That's a color.
I'm going to make an app where you can dial in an energy drink and you'll get a review from him, and it's going to be that cut and paste. Not bad.
Oh, YouTube. What kind of porn do you watch? God damn it. Fuck. I dropped the bag. Fuck, shit, fuck.
How much Mountain Dew do you think he drinks? Just on its own.
It's his go-to.
It's like
in terms of like mixers and just kind of he just seems to really like Mountain Dew. That's not an energy drink, is it?
It has a lot of caffeine in it.
Okay, yeah, because that's what happened when they introduced it to Ireland. There was this big, should it be labeled as an energy drink? Because in America, it's not high enough to be an energy drink, but in Ireland, it was over the limit. So, I mean, there again, that's the caffeine for you.
I was going to ask if you were familiar with what's called Mountain Dew mouth.
I was not, but I'm assuming it's what I think it is.
Yeah, it's just as an affliction, particularly in the southern states here in the U.S., where these, rubes will drink a huge amount of Mountain Dew and it completely rots out their teeth.
I've just Googled it now and I'm seeing photos of it coming up. Yeah, that's rotten. Anyone's dental care, regardless of how you live your life, you need to be brushing your teeth at minimum. And this Mountain Dew mouth, yeah, it's really, he's like a textbook example right about now, I'd say.
He's getting there. He's right on the brink of total destruction. It is looking bad lately.
There's a few screen captures that I've seen that have really kind of really make me feel uncomfortable to look at. Certain parts have developed like a plaque build up.
Yes.
But other areas have also decayed to the point that like it almost looks like the tooth is thinner. And his top teeth in the first place, that's why I can't figure out. Yeah. They're either really small, his top front teeth are really small, or we just can't see them because they're so engulfed in plaque.
It's his gums are swelling. There's an advanced form of gingivitis called, I'll mispronounce, periodontitis? Perio something.
Sure. Something along those lines.
It's the escalation of gingivitis, and they become super inflamed. And I guess because of all the bacteria in there, it's making his front teeth look like they're smaller. And I thought it was plaque too, but on closer inspection, his gums are just falling down over them. It's very strange looking.
Yeah, okay, I got you. The peroral dermatitis or whatever. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Oh, it's bad. His teeth are in dire condition. It's a serious health risk. So, next I have on here, on the list of his vices, I have pizza.
I've also noted that one down.
It qualifies as an addiction. He constantly buys pizza, and he has to tell himself it's just one pizza. He'll even create the lies that an addict would say when they know they're indulging in something too often, and they come up with some kind of little stipulation that it won't continue.
To be fair, I'm out of food, and I haven't had pizza in a while, so,
I might order something like this once more, but I'm not going to spend all my money on pizza, as much as I love it. Oh man, that cheese pull when you... Oh, that was sexy. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's one last time. I'll just get that. I'll just get high one last time. I just need this once before I can give it up forever. Oh yeah, it's textbook addict behavior. But the thing that really blows my mind about it is the price.
Yes.
Like in America, to my knowledge, there are a lot more pizza competitor places. So you have like Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars is one I've heard of that's like notoriously cheap.
Yes.
You can get these pizzas for $5 to $10, $15, maybe something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah.
But his will come out to $50 plus, and then he will still be reluctant to tip. He'll say like that delivery girl was super cute and super professional, and he'll say all these great things about her and be like, felt like a dick that I didn't have a tip though.
I would have left a tip if I could have afforded it, to be quite honest. That pizza delivery girl was super sweet and very professional.
You're ordering a $50 pizza, and it's just this monstrosity of every little bit of meat thrown onto it, 2 cups of garlic butter. Oh, it looks absolutely horrific. And he will just not stop throwing shit on it. Again, even with addicts, it's a bit like the... my last hit of heroin, they want it to be a fat, nice shot that like they nod off. They hit that, you know, that it hits deep. So I think he's gotten to this point now with the pizzas where he's so accustomed to getting these ridiculously overpriced, greasy monstrosities that he just can't go back to the normal thing.
He has this idea that it's one of his excuses as well, that it's a celebration. He will want to do something special because he got some YouTube money, or he sent off his batch of wands. Let's order a pizza.
As you know, I like to order at least 1 or 2 pizzas when I get my wand money, just because, you know, it's good to celebrate your successes. I'll be getting plenty of money tomorrow, so I'm not worried about it at the moment. So I ordered a pizza from Domino's, extra large, hand-tossed crust, garlic white Parmesan sauce, double the cheese, extra bacon, extra Philly cheese stick, pepperoni, and beef.
And then he goes all in.
I mean, $50 for a pizza, that's absurd. But there was the one that he had just got $1,000.
Yes.
And that lasted him, I want to say, if it was 10 days or something like that, it was pizza that he wasn't even fucking eating. He was with a big group of people that a lot of them don't look very familiar to me, and you can even hear one of them say, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna eat it. Josh paid for it."
Oh, look at that.
And I don't really like that. But you know what? It's motherfucking food that Josh paid for it, so I'm gonna fucking eat this shit if I like it or not.
Oh, well, hell yeah, man. I appreciate it.
And like that's just such a like, oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna go out and buy one, but if this guy's gonna buy it, I'm gonna eat it. And I don't even think it was a matter of him offering. It was just a matter of him being there.
Oh, they come crawling whenever he starts to celebrate, or they hear he has money. They come out of the woodwork because he is generous. He loves to buy people things. It makes him feel good.
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't be surprised like if he would help a friend in need, like, you know what I mean, with if someone did need something done for them or did need a little bit of money, regardless of if they're a trustworthy fella that he knows he can rely on. Like Darth Flinney would be someone that I know that if Josh needed his help or vice versa, no one would fuck anybody over.
Right.
But with Scotty, with that fucking Pikachu blanket and the $100 and all that kind of, like, that just shows like this fella is not your friend.
There's some extra vibes I get from him. Think of a 70s cult leader who craves conflict, almost like this Charles Manson energy, especially when there was a big conflict going on between Josh and Steve. You could tell that Scotty was actively fueling that conflict, and he wanted it to worsen very much.
First off, I'd say the Charles Manson comparison was perfect. That's an excellent kind of imagery to go behind Scotty. And they'll say like, yeah, I lied to him. I was lying to him, but only because so I could get him to admit that he was trying to take Josh's girl.
Okay, guys, to fill you in, I kind of lied. I did. I was like, hey, hey, Steve, I got this job. We can make $150, blah, 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 right? Yeah, I know that was wrong, but what was really wrong is what the fucker was trying to do to Josh, dude. Like, I know I didn't do right, but I did it in disguise for the good reason, okay? I know it wasn't okay, but fuck him. Steve tried to fuck Josh's girl, that's what he did, dude. He was trying to get down her pants and shit. I hope he watches this. I'm gonna keep this up on my fucking Facebook, dude. Like, I hope he fucking is watching this. Josh is my best fucking... No, fuck that. He's my brother, dude. And you're gonna do that to my brother? I'm not gonna let that fucking happen, dude. Not in my fucking power.
It's textbook.
It started to seem to me that he almost had no benefit from encouraging this fight. It was purely for there to be conflict.
Seeing as that he knows them on a personal level, it was definitely entertaining.
Yes.
From his perspective, 100%. I mean, I know you still have your list. I was just looking through the ones that I had jotted down. It was just tobacco, alcohol, spice, fast food, possible opiates, possible marijuana, sex. I mean, he's definitely not addicted to it, because by my ideology of someone that's addicted to sex, they would have gotten out and gotten a hooker at this stage. But he seems very, very against the idea.
It could be the legality of it. And, I mean, how do you even get set up with a hooker in Casper? Do you just find, like, a drug addict or something? And
I'm more than sure there's a known... I suppose he doesn't even have a car. Actually, he'd have to go on the bike. But I was going to say there'd be a certain strip
for sex. I definitely feel like it's a compulsion or a obsession. And it's, I imagine some kind of dial or ticker or something that eventually needs to be reset, because it seems like after enough time, if it goes past the threshold, he enters a mind where all he can think about is that he's in his, quote, dry spell and it needs to end. But if he could get something, it would be reset, and he could probably go another 6 to 12 months before it would bother him again.
As you said, if he had a week of having sex right now, after that he would be like, not too bothered about it. It's because it's been so long, and he's like, it's almost as if he's forgotten what it feels like, and he longs for the experience. It really, really gets to the point that he is completely obsessed and constantly speaks and talks about it. It really gets to him.
It affects his sense of worth and how appealing he is and all that stuff. Just like in the Fair video, he talked about, I feel like I'm ugly and worthless and no one wants me, all because he couldn't get a date or, subsequently have sex.
It seems to be more not the act of having sex, it's the fact that he can tell people, I got laid recently, and that I am, again, sexy goth bad boy that gets laid. And, because how are you calling yourself a sexy goth bad boy when you're going 2 years without having any sex? It's very oxymoronic having the two of them together. And I just think, but even God love him with Scotty, how he, I can't remember who he compares him to. He was like, I don't know who that is. And he's like, well, he's fucking ugly and he gets loads of girls.
Yeah.
And it's just like, is that really the advice you want to be given right now?
After so many ways of trying to reassure him, he finally fell on that just as something else to try to cheer him up with. He probably would have not said that if he had the chance, because it's very backhanded, but it's probably just desperate to get him to shut up.
Which even brings back the memories of the infamous date which Scotty was supposed to organize. You got to think to yourself then, if Scotty had any intentions of ever doing that, he should have realized if he can get Josh laid, now that will be the end of this constant whining and moaning and complaining.
To that point, when Josh believed that he had sex with someone on New Year's, he went so quick to YouTube and Facebook to tell everybody that he got laid, though he can't remember it. And he announced it. He said, my dry spell is over. I have no recollection, but Scotty told me it happened. And he was satisfied.
How does he genuinely believe someone telling him that you had sex? Oh, don't worry, man. And there was no name. there was a vague description. How deluded do you have to be?
They told me she was screaming and loving it, and I grabbed her boobs. It was great.
How can they rely on someone telling them that and then just being completely convinced?
A normal person, I would say a normal human would say, well, even if it did happen, that does not really count. If I can't remember a single thing, I think I need to try again, or maybe find this person and do it again, but remember it this time. But he was ready to stop chasing, I would say probably for about 6 months.
Man, that really kind of gives you a really interesting perspective into it. Just the thought of knowing that he had sex with someone, despite the fact he didn't, was more than enough for him to be satisfied.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like literally put a Valium in his Jack Daniels and then just say, "Oh, bro, you went out last night and you had a threesome with all these goths, superstars that had flown in from Europe," and like he'd be like, "Really? Fuck, I've got to go onto YouTube now and make a video about this."
Do you think he is addicted to spending money?
To a certain extent. It could be labeled as being very bad with money. It's almost as if once he does get money in his possession, a large amount, he won't logistically think about, okay, if I do buy a large amount of groceries now, that will keep me going for food for a long amount of time, and then he won't plan anything. He never looks into it properly, and I think that's the problem with his money. He will not think or plan financially at all.
No. And
he'll just go out and spend it as quick as he possibly can. I mean, he has nothing to show for any of this money that he comes across. With $1,000, he's been going on about this driving license for so long. I don't know how much it costs to go through the system of acquiring a driver's license in the United States. But with $1,000, that should be able to get you in the right direction. Like, you should be able to start making a good few steps, if not the entire process. But that $1,000 for him was several pizzas, probably some nice bits of spice, some expensive alcohol. That was the other thing I was going to say. There's times of need where he will buy he'll buy cheaper tobacco, or he'll buy roll-ups or something like that. But like, when he does just get his money, he will just go and buy the most expensive cigarettes and the most expensive bottle of whiskey he can get. Whereas, if he thought about it logically, he could get 2 or 3 bottles of similar whiskey and 2 packs of cigarettes. But it doesn't work like that. It's a mixture of needing to spend the money and the image that comes across with what he's getting, i.e. the bottle of Jack Daniels, cowboy hat on. Come on, that's a cowboy, a gothic cowboy even, might I add.
It's definitely a countdown until he's spent it all.
I'd love to have like a kind of a real-time thing where you could see his balance and the expenditures that are coming out, and like, as if you could literally, if you could give me his statements for the past year or so, and I mean, I want to see tobacco, alcohol, like those kind of things, and how much of his income is put towards those, because I reckon it is very, very, very high.
And you could say, if you made these very small changes, the classic example is the Starbucks effect or whatever. If you stop buying this expensive cup of coffee every single day, you're going to wind up with this much money. You could say, Josh, if you stop buying these really stupid things that no one needs, you could buy a car, within a year or two. Something pretty crazy. We don't really know how much money he gets. It can't be a ton, but at the same time, he doesn't have to live very expensively either. And he has nothing.
No, but the thing about it is, for someone that already has an apartment and all that stuff, considering he's getting, I'm going to say 2 to 3 forms of income between government, his father, and the Wands.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If he had any sort of
discipline,
discipline, or even just the understanding of saving money. I mean, I'm no one that should be commenting on this. I'm not good with saving money, but like, whenever you're seeing it from someone else's point of view that should be, it's a lot easier to criticize. And with him, considering he lives the way he does and doesn't work, I reckon he's actually earning and receiving a relatively okay amount per month. Like there's people out there working nonstop that don't get to live the way he does. I don't know if it's a matter of him going all out in the first few days of the month, then being broke, or if he just doesn't, if it's just so inconsistent that it's a matter of he'll have lots of money now, he'll have none now. I just can't, it's a real mystery.
Gotta cancel that Nugenics subscription. Save some money.
Yeah. That's one of them.
Where even he, in his videos, will say, I don't need this, and I'm pissed off that I'm receiving it. And I don't know if he ever managed to cancel it. I'm assuming he got it to stop coming in, but he received several boxes of that crap.
That was fucking hilarious. That was so funny. Cause what was it? They offered it as try your free sample now or something.
Yes. And they made him pay for the shipping, and they in turn used that payment information to just enroll him.
Spending money definitely gives him that dopamine release, as everything he does is basically chasing the next one. But it's not a matter of buying something like a nice bit of clothing or whatever. It's not like he's buying something that will last. It's him buying tobacco and fast food, grossly overpriced fast food at that. I think
I would be so happy to see him with a new TV, because he still has a CRT, or a new sofa or something, even if it's from Goodwill or something, or secondhand. Just new fixtures. He has all the same stuff from a really long time ago, minus his chair. He keeps going through chairs for some reason. The TV is the biggest one. He could get a decent TV these days to replace his old one, I would say, if he saved up a little bit of money. I guess I just can't tell if he even wants one.
But no, that's what I was going to say, man. From my understanding, he's on the computer nonstop. Yeah. So, I don't really see how much of the use he'll get out of it. I was thinking, fair enough. He's obviously not going to go out and go decorating his house and buying live, laugh, love signs and shit like that. But just touch the place. As you said, a new sofa. It's nice little new touch to the place. Or I don't even want to know about his bed sheets.
I was just thinking
or
of
anything like that. Yeah, no, the stuff like the electric toothbrush. That would be something that could really benefit this guy. Really, really benefit him. Maybe we're too far gone, but it would have benefited him. There's nothing to show for it. It's just constant. The place looks the same, bar the chair, of course, and the stench of tobacco just gets stronger and stronger.
No, he had some thing where he's talking about how he would take a drag and then put it down for a long time. Or
Actually, I do remember that. Actually, I personally do the same kind of thing.
I couldn't follow. For what purpose? He's still smoking in there. It's just bigger pauses in between.
Yeah, no, for me, I do it because I just don't want to finish the full thing there and then. I like to space it out. But I think with him, it's more a matter of I think he just thinks, if he smokes it in half, that's somehow,
or something.
Or it equates to less smoke somehow. I really do not get it either.
We talked about alcohol quite a bit. I'm not sure if there's anything more to say on it in terms of addiction.
Yeah, alcohol, like I said, not an addiction in the true sense of withdrawals and solid dependency of you risk a seizure or you risk there's real health implications for alcoholics because they're so dependent on alcohol. And with Josh, there can be 1 or 2 days where he's broke and won't drink. And that alone, if he was a full-blown alcoholic that needed that fix, he'd be robbing or begging or doing something to get the money. He wouldn't just let it pass. So that's I think is an important note about alcohol. But with tobacco and the fact that he will go outside and pick up wet fag butts, that's just disgusting, and also a very, very clear example of his addiction.
I have a zinger for you. Lying.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes. He
Most
is
definitely.
a very much a compulsive liar. He lies constantly.
Quite literally about everything and anything.
Yes. And I wouldn't say it's to the point, because there's certain compulsive liars that will lie even if it doesn't benefit them. But I want to say he lies to benefit himself almost all the time.
This is the thing. We don't know what he's like in person. We don't know what he will say to us in person. But whenever he's projecting himself through YouTube and he's creating this image to other people of what he lives like, and, you know, it's that wall-to-wall lies.
His interactions with people, with the police.
Yeah, oh no, like the I don't know if we said this already, the one of him overhearing people, oh, that gothic bad boy smells good, or that gothic, oh my, like, they'll know him by name. They'll say, oh, King Cobra JFS is over there.
Now it's a
And
party.
like, that's,
Ride the escalator up to the where my seat is. I heard someone shout, "Got the King Cobra! Now it's a party!" I'm like, well, hey.
yeah, exactly. That kind of lying where it's creating this illusion of him, it's just furthering the illusion that he's a celebrity in Casper or Wyoming or however you want to call it. I'm trying to think of like a more solid lie that he will. I mean, there was the head shave, obviously. That was a classic.
Sure.
He said, I attempted to shave one part, I messed up, therefore I went with shaving it all. I had no intentions of shaving it all, but, you know, one thing led to another.
Yeah. There's been lots of really interesting theories regarding that, one of which involves him having lice and being forced to shave his head, which we don't have any evidence, but it's a very interesting theory.
Definitely, and more than likely plausible.
Yeah. My two favorite lies are when he retells stories of his interactions with people, and they are so far-fetched that no one could believe it. Interactions with police, there was one where they had stopped him and he told them about his wand, because he had his staff with him and they thought it was a samurai sword. Something about them driving away and him raising his staff wand in the air and a huge bolt of lightning comes down, and then the police saying, holy shit, that guy knows real magic.
I waved my scepter into the sky, and as soon as that crystal pointed into the sky, a big bolt of thunder went followed by a big old burst of lightning. And you hear the cop sit next to that one dude going, dude, that was legit.
That is outrageous.
And I didn't realize that was the police. I thought it was a car that drove past and called him a faggot. And
That's
then
the other one.
Okay, same exact scenario though. They said something to him, double-crossed him in some way, shape or form, and straight away their car spun out of control and was written off. And he could hear, despite the fact they had driven off, he could still hear through the crash and all the commotion which would have followed. Oh my God, King Cobra JFS got us. We shouldn't do that again.
It was like,
and you're just,
fuck, I got in a car accident.
Some random asshole who doesn't even fucking know me starts yelling at me out of his car window, calling me he's all like, you're a faggot, you're gay, you're gay, you're a faggot, I don't care. It just continues going on and on and on. And I had enough of it. So I'm like, that asshole is gonna get into a car crash for talking shit. Did I use my dark powers? Yes, I did. Trust and believe I did. And then right as I was about to walk a third of the way to work, I heard the person who was talking shit go, fuck, I got into a car crash. Literally, I heard somebody say it. The same asshole who was talking shit. I'm just like, you really want to fuck with somebody who knows black magic? You're stupid.
That's
it.
Retelling
That's
of
it. That's it.
Which
That's
is
it.
so
That's
absurd. No human would ever say that after getting in a car accident. Oh, I love those kinds of stories where he takes the wheel about midway. Maybe the first part could have been true, where some guy called him a name, and then his imagination takes over, and from there on out, it's pure fiction. I love those.
Yeah.
Some of these stories and things that he's saying lately, people are coming into question whether he has hallucinated this stuff or if it really took place. He's talked about getting into pretty serious arguments with kids who are making fun of him. And
I remember that one.
nobody knows for sure if he just imagined this, because it's just really weird. I think he had been out collecting sticks or something, and he talked about some kids making fun of him really hard and how he wanted to fight them but wouldn't. It's just strange. I don't get it.
I mean, the likelihood of a group of kids seeing that guy wandering around picking up sticks and calling him names is almost inevitable. But it's always what happened after.
Yes.
As you said, he takes the wheel.
My number one addiction is him and tobacco. He cannot live without that shit.
No, definitely not. And with nicotine in general is a very instant release. It hits you straight away, and it's one of the most rude. Like, I mean, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing on my mind is getting nicotine into me. And with him, it's the same principle, but he just constantly keeps putting nicotine and tobacco back into his body. Like, it's just non-stop.
It is. He is a chimney.
There was a point where he said that he had planned on stopping smoking inside.
Oh, yeah.
Just inside because of the smell. So in his mind, he had, it had nothing to do with the health or anything. It was completely okay to continue on smoking such sick amounts. But for the benefit of the house or the apartment, he would smoke outside. But I highly doubt he followed through with that. And with Josh, there can be 1 or 2 days where he's broke and won't drink. And that alone, I mean, if he was a full-blown alcoholic that needed that fix, he'd be robbing or begging or doing something to get the money. Like, he wouldn't just let it pass. So that's I think is an important note about alcohol. But with tobacco and the fact that he will go outside and pick up wet fag butts, that's just disgusting, and also a very, very clear example of his addiction.
Who could get through to him, and who could help him change his habits? What would it take?
A girlfriend.
A girlfriend.
That's what I would. If he. Okay, maybe not a girlfriend per se, but if it was
I hadn't thought of it, and that would be an incredible motivator.
If it was someone that was that prepared to put up with his shit in exchange for somewhat molding him into a better person, I could see that making an influence other than a doctor.
All right. And even then...
I'd say the doctor would even be less. I'd say the girlfriend comes higher than the doctor, because he's not going to get to have sex with the doctor. Put it this way, the dentist doesn't seem to have gotten through to him. So
no.
From that, we can assume that health care specialists do not register in his mind. He doesn't quite understand the importance of someone that's like a paid health professional telling you advice about your health. That just doesn't seem to click whatsoever. So girlfriend, or unless, again, going back to Clint, unless Clint really puts his foot down and says the money isn't coming anymore unless you get your shit together.
Yeah.
There's only a couple ways, and even still, man, it's been a long time of this. It's been a really long time. I don't know when he's going to reach the point of he will be unemployed and on benefits for the rest of his life. What do you think it would take for him to start improving in any way, shape, or form?
If he could somehow be convinced to equate having a girlfriend with brushing his teeth regularly and getting his gums healthy again, I think he would do it. But there's a limit to how far he can go, just given what he can do, like having a decent job that doesn't pay minimum wage. It may be borderline impossible. He could work as hard as he could, but he wouldn't get, let's say, an office job or something.
No, never. He has absolutely zero credentials, from what I understand.
It's disheartening to think now that even if he had a potential girlfriend motivating him, that I don't think he could do the necessary things to be like an attractive male or someone who could get a girlfriend.
I mean, like I said in the I was talking to you already about it, and how in episode 5 it was described as not the worst looking guy. He isn't the worst looking guy, but man, he is a very, very ugly guy. Like, I mean, fair enough. I've said it already. His build, that's nothing to worry about. It's not these massive Arnold Schwarzenegger huge arms that he's envisioning. But, you know, he's in relatively okay shape.
Mm-hmm.
But those teeth, the really big fat fish lips, the wandering eye that just sort of spirals around the place, and I want to say he's had the same pair of glasses for I don't know how long.
But, oh, man, it's I didn't expect to get into this train of thought. Just now, all I can think about is his eligibility to get with anyone, because as you get older, the rules change significantly for where you need to be in your life. When he was in his early 20s, especially in Job Corps, him getting with Stephanie was a miracle, but at that point in your life, you can get with someone like that who has a really low-end job. Their life isn't completely put together. You're still young. You're just dating randos. But when you're a 30-year-old man in that condition, normally the single men that are out there at that age, they've made these milestones. They've achieved these things. And he doesn't have any of that.
You really have to ask yourself, what does this guy bring to the table? And there is not a lot going on.
No. Strange, kind of smelly little man.
Hermit in middle America that's very addicted to tobacco, has a considerable drinking problem, doesn't work, is particularly reliant on his father for money, does not look good by any stretch of the imagination unless you're into that.
I don't mean to just completely rag on him, but the whole idea is he could become motivated to change his life, to get a girl, but it wouldn't be good enough. And
well, I don't know. I mean, okay, well, let's if we're talking like within the next 10 years,
yeah,
he could literally, I mean, if he was to start today or the day he turns 30, if it was to get to the point of like he finds a job, he works there for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you know, you can work your way up in these places. You can get higher positions, and who knows, if he was stubborn enough to stay somewhere and working somewhere, he could transfer that into a slightly, reasonable income. And I mean, I'm sure there'll be someone that would be able to, that you'd be able to find a match for someone with that level of income.
Well, so I mean, the big takeaway probably is, given all of his addictions, is nothing is going to stop him, at least at this time.
Nothing is going to stop him, and it is a very bad recipe. I mean, it's great to watch. I mean, I love seeing him drink himself to an awful state. I love seeing him spiced out of his brain. I love seeing him smoke endless amounts of tobacco, because it just keeps up this thing in my mind. Like, wow, he's really still doing it. Like, nothing's changed. It's still going strong. It never will change.
It's amazing, because it seems like one of the biggest things that is threatening him right now is his general neglect of himself. He doesn't take care of himself. And maybe his biggest addiction is just being a really filthy person who doesn't brush his teeth or shower. I mean, at this point, it's almost an intervention to say, Josh, please brush your teeth.